At last count, the world contained about 7.4 billion people. That's quite a lot already, and it's impossible to say exactly how many have lived before us. With so many people in total, it's no wonder that countless stories have been left untold, objects left buried, and mysteries left unsolved. As much as we know about the world, and as many mysteries as we've already solved, there is still so much more we can't fully comprehend, and perhaps never will, about the distant past. Symbols, scrolls, artifacts. Sometimes it's hard to fathom exactly what else could be out there or even in our own backyards. Some people believe that there is an ancient technology yet to be discovered, or even entire civilizations left to be found. And sometimes ancient artifacts can change how we view our history. Let's take a look at some of what our ancestors have left behind. 10 eerie and incredible unsolved ancient mysteries from around the world. Number 10. The Devil's Bible. Also referred to as the Codex Gigas, the Devil's Bible is a relic from medieval times, written in the 13th century by a monk who was said to have made a deal with the devil in order to finish it. According to legend, the monk had been sentenced to be walled up alive as punishment for breaking his vows. He promised the monastery that if they let him live, he would write a book that would contain all human knowledge in a single day. To fulfill this promise, the monk sold his soul to Lucifer. The real basis for this legend is likely the fact that even though the manuscript is extremely long, it appears to have been written by just one person over a relatively short period of time. Created using more than 160 animal skins and requiring 2 people to even lift it, the Codex Gigas contains the complete Latin translation of the Bible, as well as multiple other texts, including works by Hippocrates and Cosmas of Prague, not to mention medical formulas, texts on exorcisms, and a large depiction of the devil himself. 12 pages of the original manuscript are missing, and what they might have contained remains a mystery. Some rumors say that pages contain secret satanic text, perhaps even a method for conjuring the devil himself. Number 9. The Nazca Lines. Most people are likely aware of crop circles, sprawling circular patterns often made in the cornfields of farmers throughout the world that are said to be created by extraterrestrials. They're possibly a form of communication, possibly a warning. But perhaps the most fascinating of these types of symbols, dubbed geoglyphs, are the Nazca lines found across the dry desert plains of southern Peru. Said to be created by the Nazca culture between 500 BCE and 500 CE, there are more than 100 of these massive glyphs, depicting everything from simple lines to intricate designs of monkeys, humans, fish, jaguars, and birds. Although the symbols are recognizable, the true purpose of these glyphs is unknown. Some say the lines were created as a means of giving incoming sailors directions. Others say they were used for astronomical purposes as a way to signal the stars. Number 8. The underwater ruins of Japan. Submerged just off the coast of Yonaguni-jima is Japan's own Atlantis, a sprawling underwater city believed to be at least 5,000 years old. First discovered by a diver in 1995, the city was initially believed to be nothing more than a bizarre series of natural rock formations, all of which mysteriously featured perfect right angles and straight lines. Later, searches revealed everything from a large stone gateway to carved stairways and streets to vaulting towers. Believed to be the former city of the Jomon people, experts theorize that the city didn't exactly fall into the sea like the fabled Atlantis, but rather became submerged as sea levels rose over thousands of years. As scientists continue to research the underwater site, many believe this particular site could hold key information to other possible underwater cities around the world. Number 7. Roman dodecahedrons. Unlike many other ancient artifacts, there are exactly about 100 of these mysterious objects floating around. Typically made of either stone or bronze, The hollow Roman dodecahedrons have 12 sides, with a small circle on each and pegs jutting out from the connecting corners. Although they resemble nautical devices, the purpose of these dodecahedrons is unknown. Historians have guessed everything from fortune tellers to candle holders. Some say they were used for astrological or religious means. Experts have dated them as far back as the 2nd and 3rd century CE and suggest that they were used to sow winter grains or even to calibrate water pipes for Roman architects. Number 6. Easter Island's Rongo Rongo writings. Easter Island has many strange mysteries associated with it, and the large moai statues are the most famous. However, many people believe that the entire island was once used by extraterrestrials as a means to communicate as well. But there is still another strange mystery linked to the famous Polynesian islands. An intricate series of glyphs believed to be writing or proto-writing, an earlier form of communication based on symbols rather than characters. First discovered by Eugene Arad in 1864, the glyphs are said to go back to around 1200 and feature imagery similar to that of other religious signs found in the area. To date, scientists have not been able to determine exactly what the glyphs say or link them to any outside cultures. The symbols were carved on wood using small obsidian flakes or shark's teeth. Assuming that Rongo Rongo is indeed a form of writing, it would be a fascinating example of an entirely unique language that formed independently by itself on an isolated island. Number 5. The Helionikon Pyramid. While it's fairly common to label the Egyptian pyramid the stuff of ancient mysteries, it's something entirely new to discover similar structures all over the world. Such is the case with the pyramids of Argolis, Greece, and their most famous structure, the Helionikon Pyramid. The true purpose of the Helionikon remains unknown, although experts have theorized that a battle once took place at the site, and the structure was subsequently built as a monument to those who died. Although nothing has been found within the pyramid walls to provide evidence of an actual tomb. While the mystery of what's inside the Helionikon is certainly intriguing, what truly fascinates theorists is the fact that it was supposedly built in 2720 BCE, making it significantly older than any of the Egyptian pyramids. Number 4. The Baghdad Batteries. In 1838, while working in what is now Iraq, German archaeologist Wilhelm Koenig found a number of clay jars, each containing an iron rod encased in a copper cylinder. Koenig published a paper in which he theorized the objects were ancient batteries or galvanic cells. That would be an amazing technological development given the age of the objects. They date to the Parthian era, or about 200 BCE. According to Elizabeth Stone, a leading authority on Iraqi art and archaeology, experts don't subscribe to the battery theory. An alternate theory suggests the containers were used for storing scrolls, which would have wrapped around the iron rod and been contained in the copper cylinder. This theory has its roots in the Seleucia vessels, similar objects from a nearby ancient city. Despite the opposition to Koenig's theory, Smith College art history professor Dr. Marjorie Seneschal had students build replicas of the device, which produced voltage. If they were batteries, they worked. Theories as to what such a battery would have been used for range from medicinal practices to printing money, creating metal plating, and making jewelry. Number 3. The Bog Bodies of Northern Europe. Since the 18th century, hundreds of incredibly well-preserved human cadavers have been discovered in the peat bogs of Northern Europe. These bodies have been forensically dated as far back as 8000 BCE. The famous Tolland man, discovered in 1950 by two Danish farmers in a small town in Denmark, lived in the pre-Roman Iron Age of the 3rd century BCE. He was so well preserved that the contents of his stomach were used to establish when he lived. Despite the different demographic makeup of these corpses in terms of age, sex, and social standing, there is one mysterious and unexplained commonality in their composition. They seem to have been deliberately executed and placed in the bogs, with no explanation as to why this method of disposal would be utilized. Researchers speculate that perhaps they were sacrifices or social outcasts. Number 2. Laos's Plain of Jars. In the northern Jingqiang province of Laos, a bizarre collection of large circular objects dot the countryside. Believed to be over 2,000 years old, the best guess concerning the function of these cylinders located on the Plain of Jars is that they have some role in an ancient funeral rite. Constructed of sandstone and weighing at least a ton, these objects reside in an area which suffered greatly during the American Secret War. Many of the cylinders were damaged or scattered by missiles. Today, visitors are not allowed to visit most of the ancient sites which have not been cleared of active cluster bombs. Number 1. Malta's Hypogeum of Hal Saflieni. The Hypogeum of Sal Saflieni was not even discovered until 1902. Perhaps initially a sanctuary and ultimately a burial place of some kind, the Hypogeum is the only preserved example of subterranean labyrinth architecture in Europe. In use from 4000 to 2500 BCE, the structure has 3 levels that are painted with ornate designs and architecture carved out of the rock. The most mysterious aspect of the edifice is a special chamber known as the Oracle Chamber, in which words spoken at a normal volume are amplified 100 times and audible throughout the entire structure. Whether this design feature was intentional and how it was used is unknown. Hey, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel to stay informed about our upcoming videos because more incredible content is on the way.